It is Beyond the Box Score 2.0 version. The boys are back.
Little blast from the past,
Star Spangled Banter. Connor, you go first.
This is going to sound completely crazy.
Win me a few more games before you start dancing. That's all I ask.
That is the difference between being good and being great.
How about that segue right there, baby?
Forward bounce, just get it out of here.
You like that?
And they let the team down on Sunday. Last call.
Good afternoon. Here on an afternoon on a Sunday. This is Beyond the Box Score, and it's our Super Bowl special. Connor Priester across the screen. I'm Cole Johnson. What a day. Super Bowl 55, and now about T-minus 5 hours from now. So we're getting close there, Connor. How excited are you?
Man, I mean, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago where we're leading up to the championship games and said no matter what the matchup's going to be, I mean, it's going to be a one for the ages and probably one of the better Super Bowl matchups in recent history. I mean, again, just no matter what, no matter of the four teams, you're going to have storylines on storylines. I mean, now we got, Chiefs Bucks. I mean, it's going to be a blast, and I'm just excited for it. It kind of feels like the season kind of went by a little quick, but then at some points kind of dragged on too. We're here. We get to enjoy one more Sunday with everybody, and I'm just ready to get it going.
Yeah, we are here, and it's something that a lot of people were skeptical about. I mean, we started this season in the midst of a pandemic, Connor, and this is now the fourth major pro sport that is on its way to finishing a season in this really uncertain year. So that's good news to begin with. And then number two, like you said, it's going to be an incredible Super Bowl. I wish I would have seen this coming earlier in the year. I think we got a preview of it in Week 12 when these two teams played. And I think we saw a little bit of it, but we were kind of hesitant to pull the trigger and say this was going to be the big matchup. But, Connor, with that being said, what are you doing for tonight? Who are you watching it with? Where are you watching it at?
I think I'm just gonna stay home with the family, the cousin and his fiance, and we're just gonna, I think we got a little bit of a minor spread set up for later, so nothing too crazy. Gonna keep it light. Got work in the morning, so gonna have to keep it a little easy.
Beautiful. Yeah, well, we haven't talked in a while. This is we're catching up here. I did one on by myself the other day because you had baseball, but what. Just real quick before we get this rolling, Connor, what's your favorite football spread? What's your favorite thing to eat during football, especially the Super Bowl?
We're not going to have it this year, but favorite football spread, I'd have to say that shout out my papa, his chili. Me and my cousin made it, and I got to say we might have made it a little bit better, but his recipe, the good old Pops' chili is definitely up there. Trying to think of some other fun ones. I mean, being in Buffalo, chicken wing dip is a must basically at any type of football party.
Absolutely.
But I'd have to throw out chicken wing dip, maybe chili. It doesn't really matter to me for like the big foods, really.
Yeah.
Just as long as you got like some good dips, maybe some good appetizers, you really don't need anything crazy.
Agreed. I'm going to my Fames today, and they have a special dip called football dip. They just named it that. They didn't have a name for it, so they called it football dip, and it's one of my favorites. So I'm glad I get to have some of that today. So
we should have done a Super Bowl spread power ranking.
We should have.
Maybe
should've. Next year.
Yeah, we remember. We'll probably forget.
Probably. All right, Connor. Let's get this thing rolling. We'll kick it off with a Star Spangled Banter. Speaking of which, I thought this was funny. I'm not sure if this is absolutely true or not. I'm going to have to look. But, Connor, I heard that they took away the over-under on the Star Spangled Banter. Excuse me. I just took that on the national anthem. They took away the over-under because apparently somebody recorded the practice of it and posted it. So that's no longer a bet.
They did. It was actually, I saw it on social media on a couple different accounts, but I think the first one I did see was actually from Barstool. They were outside the stadium. Still like they weren't necessarily like right next to the stadium. They were in like a park, like near the stadium, but you could still hear it. And once they started, he literally, I don't know how he was recording it, but then he was showing his phone with the timer and literally timed it. So I didn't watch the video all the way through because I understood what was going on. So I don't know how long it's actually going to be, but one person ruins it for everyone.
I know it's definitely going to make some people mad because I know a lot of people bank on making some money off that national anthem.
That's one of the bigger prop bets, because obviously it's in the Super Bowl every single year. There's always the national anthem, but that's like the big one is the national anthem.
That one next to the coin toss. So, and we'll get to that later. We got something fun for you later with the coin toss. But our Star Spangled Banter, even though we're not going to have a prop bet on the national anthem and the Star Spangled Banner later today, here we go. Just kick this off, Connor. This is a game that I look forward to every year, but this year, this is going to be called the GOAT versus the Kid. And I just learned about an hour ago that a kid is the name of a baby goat. So just to put that out there, it's been a year of incredible quarterback matchups and, in a new quarterback league, some of them on their way out, some of them on the precipice of greatness. So, specifically in the playoffs, we saw Brady and Breeze, Mahomes and Allen, Brady and Rodgers, and now Brady and Mahomes. Round 2 in the playoffs for these two. If you don't remember, the last time these two played in the postseason, New England stole one right out from underneath Kansas City. A pick seemed to end it, but it was called for offsides, took it back. Mahomes never gets to touch the ball in overtime, and New England walks away, going to the Super Bowl once again. Afterwards, Mahomes gets greeted by Brady privately outside of the locker room. Some words of wisdom from the best to ever do it. Mahomes goes out and wins a Super Bowl the following year, and now his legacy has begun. Now that legacy is being tested. And it's being tested again, and it's being tested on a stage like no other. The Super Bowl, the 55th Super Bowl, hot and sunny Tampa. It's against Tom Brady with a new team, a franchise that hasn't seen this success since 2003. We may never get to see a matchup like this ever again. The quarterback matchup specifically. Throw out Rodgers and Brady. Throw out Mahomes and Allen just for now. They're going to have their time. This is the GOAT versus the Kid. The kid with the biggest GOAT potential. And something Tony Romo said earlier this week or last week was it's like Michael versus LeBron. It's like Tiger versus Nicholas. It's a chance to keep the wheels spinning towards a legacy, build that up, beat the best to get to their stature. If Brady wins again, I'm not sure if Mahomes can ever catch up. Can he? I mean, Brady's going to have 7. Mahomes is only going to have 1 for the time being. And that's up for debate for a long time coming, but whether or not he can, he sure as hell is going to make a good push for it. So that's what makes this so special. That's what makes it such a spectacle to watch. It's going to be incredible. It's been a long, long year, Connor. We've all been tested. We've all wanted to give up at some point. We've been pushed in ways we never thought we'd want to be pushed. There's been anger, confusion, frustration, and tears. A lot of our families have gone through hell and back. We've lost a lot of good people in this world this past year. Personally, I lost another special person in my family yesterday. Another staple in my small community, another incredible person. It seemed as though we can't catch a break. I was extremely close to calling off today's show. I didn't want to do it. But we push forward, we adapt, we grow. It's what 2020 and I guess bleeding into 2021 taught us. So I use this time to tell you to enjoy the day today. Spend some time with your family, your kids, your friends, anybody. Have some conversations, have some drinks, have some food, and do it before 6:30 tonight, and then enjoy one of the best stories we're ever going to see, one of the best stress relievers you could ever ask for, some football. And it's not just football today. It's the Super Bowl. It's going to be one of the best Super Bowls. It's Super Bowl 55, and it's Tom Brady, and it's Patrick Mahomes. It's a franchise longing for glory, and Andy Reid looking to cement his name. It's not just football. It's greatness. This is the kind of football where we find some of the best stories. Sports creates some of the best stories we can ever seek out. So hug your family, eat some Tostitos, find some queso or something, share some stories, and kick back and enjoy the Super Bowl tonight. It's going to be incredible. I think we all owe it upon ourselves just to enjoy this one.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, first and foremost, to my condolences out to you and your family as well. I mean, like you said, you've been going through it. But yeah, and like the other thing that I've been reiterating time and time again, like, yeah, we're about to see Tom Brady in another Super Bowl. And if there's one person who doesn't want to see it, it's me after dealing with Tom Brady for basically my entire lifetime as a football fan. But I mean, man, you're not going to see something like this happen again. And again, like how you already mentioned, Patrick Mahomes does probably have the closest potential to do that, but we're never going to see something like this of this magnitude again, unless it, by chance it happens again next year. But it's just seeing Tom Brady just continue to be great, find ways to be a winner, and just the level of compete that he brings. And it's just it's just, again, you can never bet against Tom Brady because he's going to prove you wrong every single time. And it's just the matchup itself. It's Andy Reid really trying to continue to be a top coach in the NFL and stay on top as a Super Bowl champion, and like you said, cementing his legacy. And then it's Bruce Arians coming back and Tom Brady going to Tampa Bay. And it's just everybody still, no matter how much success you've had in the league or how long or how short you've been in the league or what you've done, everyone's trying to prove something tonight. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's so special about it is, like, you got a 40-something-year-old guy in Tom Brady that's trying to prove to the world that he can win without being a New England Patriot. You got Patrick Mahomes proving that he could be the next Tom Brady. Andy Reid proving he can be a Bill Belichick. And it's just going to be a hell of a night.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes it so special. All the storylines that go into tonight, and you could have picked it out with any team that's in this one this year. It just seemed like this year there were so many storylines or headlines, but this one tonight seems especially, the cream of the crop. A lot of good stuff going on, a lot on the line. So with that being said, Connor, let's jump right into this. Last night, every Super Bowl year, the night before the Super Bowl, we get the NFL awards. So we're gonna do a little agree or disagree here with the big awards from last night. So Connor, I'll throw it at you, and I want you to tell me if you agreed or disagree with the decision. So, offensive rookie of the year, we'll start with that. That was won by Justin Herbert. Connor, what do you think?
Yeah, first, before I give my answer, do you feel old yet?
At times, yes.
Because Charles Woodson, Peyton Manning, Megatron getting in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. I last night it started to make me feel a little old, and it made me feel like, we grew up watching those guys, and it was just like,
yeah, we're getting there. Damn. We're getting there.
It's like, damn, yeah. But no, I completely agree with Justin Herbert as the offensive rookie of the year. I know a lot of people are going to want to say Justin Jefferson, but listen, to me, it's a lot easier to be able to step in as a rookie and have the tangibles that Jefferson has and succeed right away. And for Herbert to step in and play and just look the way that he did and handle himself the way that he did, I think he wholeheartedly deserves it. There's a bigger learning curve that comes with playing quarterback in the NFL, going from college, stepping under center into the NFL. So just, again, all year too, it was like he just didn't look like a rookie. He was composed. He was reading defenses, making good reads, and fitting the ball into some really tight windows too. And it's just, he did not look like a rookie. So I agree. This is, my pick as well.
Yeah, and I will agree with you on that, Connor. I think, and you have to look at the numbers this kid put up, and he didn't even play the first couple games of the season. They were going to sit him under Tyrod Taylor all year long, and then Tyrod Taylor gets a punctured lung, and Justin Herbert steps in like he didn't skip a beat, and he's been in the league for a couple of years. I mean, as much as we rave about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield in that 2018 quarterback class, if you look at all of their rookie years, I think we can all agree that Justin Herbert looks much more comfortable than any of those guys did in their first year.
Yeah, that's a fact. He was money. I mean, if he's not under center too, I mean, that team is not even, even though they didn't have a good year, they're not even close to what they were this year.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to defensive rookie of the year. Other side of the football, we got Chase Young taking this one home, the big boy from Ohio State. Connor, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with this one as well. It was my pick earlier in the year. I know that we split up between conference, but if I had to pick between two, obviously this is mine. I mean, he was just unstoppable on the defensive line for Washington and really kind of solidified and changed the trenches for them, and really was part of the reason why that the defense looked scary for a few weeks and even getting them into the playoffs. So, I mean, this is, again, very well deserved from Chase Young.
Yep.
And he's going to continue to be an absolute monster for the rest of his career if he looks like that, and if he keeps growing, maturing, developing. I mean, he's going to be a defensive player of the year candidate for years to come.
Yeah, and it's not even just him. That entire defensive line in Washington is they're a unit. That is unit there between Sweat and Payne, all those guys. yes, like he's going to be in the running for years to come, and that's what the defense did get Washington to the playoffs. So I agree with this pick. Now let's take a step up and go to defensive player of the year, not rookie of the year, but player of the year. We may have a little bit of pushback on this one, but I think we can't argue that this guy's an amazing player and a face of the league. But Aaron Donald taking home defensive player of the year. Who do you think was that the right choice?
It's so hard to say if it was right or wrong, because is it like a right choice? Yeah. Was there a better one? There are definitely arguments to be made. So my pick earlier too, when we did our award show, is I actually had Xavier Howard because he had 10 picks, and he definitely deserved to be in the conversation, but not. Looking back at it, I don't think over Aaron Donald, or the guy who I really thought was going to get it, which I thought was going to be a lock, was T.J. Watt. So to me, I think that the choice of Donald over Watt is solely the fact of how disruptive he is when in doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's especially, I mean, you could make the case for Watt too, but I mean, you look at film, and if you look back on everything, and like how much that Aaron Donald draws attention to him and is double teamed, triple teamed, and still have the year that he had. I mean, it's incredible. But and then you got to look at TJ Watt though. I mean, leading the NFL in basically every statistical category for an edge rusher like that. I do kind of think it was a snub. I think TJ Watt was a little bit more deserving of it, but again, it's like it's either one really kind of deserved it. But to me, I would have taken TJ Watt.
Yeah. I think I would have too, but we don't get a vote, Connor.
But that's why we also go beyond the box score, beyond the stats. So I mean, Aaron Donald.
Right. You're right. All right. Offensive player of the year. Who we got? I think Connor will probably agree with this. He's been in on him all year. Offensive player of the year went to Titans running back Derrick Henry. So Connor, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, they got it right, and I was so afraid they wouldn't. I was so afraid that maybe they'd lean towards Mahomes or Rodgers. And but he deserves it. I mean, he's just an absolute animal, and that offense runs through him. And they got it right. He had a hell of a year again, over 2,000 yards. He's just an absolute beast. So I mean, what more can you say? He got it.
I will give my vote every year to a guy who that looks like it's scary to tackle him.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine having that guy run at me. Oh my God, he's probably twice the size of me. I would fold like a long chair if that dude ran at me. Yep. So I respect. All right. Now this is a good one. I think this one is absolutely, undoubtedly, unanimously expected. Comeback player of the year, Connor, going to Washington quarterback Alex Smith. We talked about it back when we did our pre-picks a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and I texted you last night saying that I was like about to tear up when this award was up, because everything from the video package, it was narrated by his wife, his speech, and you just know how much of this meant to him, even though he tried to be a little modest about it. But did the year go the way that he wanted? Almost as close as what you could imagine. Could have ended a little bit better, but I mean, it was almost written in the stars for this to happen. After what happened to him, I mean, a watered down NFC East really opened the door for them to win the division. Coming back from really almost losing his leg, his life, and then came back and took over in the middle of the season and helped lead them to a division title. I mean, it's just storybook stuff, and it's powerful, it's moving, and it's just one of those really good feel-good stories that every season needs.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And I'm not entirely sure what the 50 votes are or who they are exactly. I'd have to look into that, but I saw.
I know where you're going with this.
That there's 50 votes cast for that, and it was 49 for Alex Smith, 1 vote for Ben Roethlisberger. I would just love to know who that vote was and why. I don't know how you can make an argument for it.
No, it's.
I mean, the only
I don't even know
that I see fit is Ben Roethlisberger didn't play all of last year, and then he comes back and they start 11-0, but they also lost 3 out of the last 4 and then got embarrassed in the first round of the wild card.
With his play completely dipping as well.
Yes. So if you want to give it to him, go ahead. But I don't know how you could pass up on the Alex Smith story. So whoever you are, all power to you, but whatever. All right. Coach of the year. This one going to Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski, the guy who missed that game due to COVID. He was at home in his basement when Cleveland Browns went and embarrassed the Pittsburgh Steelers. Coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski. Connor, what do you think?
I don't like it. Personally, I would give this award to Brian Flores before Stefanski. And that's just with all the talent that's in that locker room. And you still kind of sneak into the playoffs, yeah, because Pittsburgh dominated for a while, and then I know that you want to throw it on whoever was coaching that game. But as a coach, you need to make sure that everyone's prepared, and they completely butcher that playoff game. Mm-hmm. And I think he's a good coach. He's learning and will continue to get better. But I mean, I would have given this to McDermott, Flores, Reed, or Arians before Kevin Stefanski.
Okay. I'm kind of torn. I told you last night I'm okay with it. I
understand.
I'm not gonna say no. It absolutely should not have been him. I think to get Cleveland, the most dysfunctional and dumpster fire organization in the National Football League for the last 20, 25 years, to get them to win a playoff game in the fashion they did without him even being there, that's unbelievable. But even just getting to the playoffs, but like you said, you can also give that same stick off to McDermott. And Flores did not get to the playoffs. Maybe that was a determining factor, but I would agree with you. There's a lot of candidates. That's a tough one to pick. That's probably one of the toughest decisions, is probably coach of the year, I think, because especially this year, there's a lot of guys. But assistant coach of the year, this is one we did not talk about back when we did our picks. But that's going to the man in Buffalo, Connor, a guy that I think a lot of people are surprised did not land a head coaching job and is staying in Buffalo. Brian Daboll, offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. What do you think?
Yeah, we didn't do this one on the award show, but it's very well deserving, and not just a homer opinion. And if McDermott didn't win Coach of the Year, Daboll deserved to win this. The growth and progression of Josh Allen, I mean, directly reflects the coaching of Brian Daboll. And going back to the Chargers, and you look at a quarterback in Justin Herbert, with what Brian Daboll has done to Josh Allen, I think it's extremely foolish on their part that they didn't either try harder or they didn't really try to go get Brian Daboll for their head coach. Because if Daboll can do that with Josh Allen, who everybody already counted out through his first 2 seasons, and then makes this crazy year 3 turnaround, I mean, you're already going to have a solid base offensive rookie of the year in Justin Herbert. What more could Brian Daboll do for him? I mean, could completely turn around that franchise too, with just increasing the performance and the talent in Herbert. So I mean, well deserved for this award. But going back to what I said about the Chargers, it's just head scratching to me.
And here's where I wanted to ask you this, and we'll just take care of it now because we're talking about it. Do you think that there were offers made to Brian Daboll, do you think he turned them down and said, I want to stay in Buffalo, or were there simply no teams that reached out to him?
There hasn't really been anything that came out, and I know that teams talked to him. I don't know if anyone made an official offer, but I also said for the longest time that I didn't think that Daboll or Leslie Frazier, their defensive coordinator, were going to leave, because I think that they're, just the culture that McDermott has built, not just with the players, but also with the coaching staff, the trainer, everybody there, that they want to be there. They're constantly getting guys that want to be in Buffalo. They want to be a part of the organization. And I think depending on how next year goes, then I'll be able to make a decision. But, it was more of like my thought was that they wouldn't leave until they got to the championship game. But they got to the championship game, and now I feel like they're not going to leave until they get to the Super Bowl. But I don't know. Anything could happen. I just think that they want to be a part of everything that they started to build from the ground up, and they want to see it succeed.
Yeah. So that's interesting to know if he actually got any offers or not, or if he absolutely just wanted to stay in Buffalo. So,
however, going off topic, I will say that I don't think Leslie Frazier's time in Buffalo is going to last too much longer.
Okay. Agree. Probably right. All right. We'll get to the big daddy of them all. MVP. I think this was probably expected around the league. I don't think that it was going in any other direction. You can make your cases for other ones, but MVP going to Green Bay quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Connor, what do you think?
I agree with it, but in my terms of MVP, I will still die on the hill that Josh Allen was more valuable to the Bills this year than Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's not my homer opinion. That is literally just how I see an MVP award. Allen needed to succeed to win. Rodgers had Aaron Jones. Like, Allen needed to play an elite level of football in order to win football games this year for them.
Yeah.
And Rodgers has Aaron Jones, and the Bills have no run game. The Packers did, and one of the best in the league, as a matter of fact. So, I mean, they had almost identical seasons with the exception of interceptions if we're looking at stats. But, I mean, I'm fine with Rodgers getting it. I think he does deserve it. But I still think that Allen, in terms of how I see a most valuable player award, I think Allen was a little bit slightly more deserving. But I'm fine with Rodgers getting it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. I mean, I agree. I think it could have gone either way, and I think we can both agree, Connor, that Josh Allen is going to have his time to win a couple of these puppies. So, if they gotta bite the bullet and give it to Aaron Rodgers one last time before he rides off, then so be it. Josh will have his time, so I'm okay with it as well. So that's it for our NFL awards. Agree or disagree? Let's get to it, Connor. We decided to do this to preview the Super Bowl 55, big night tonight. We are now about 4.5 hours away from kickoff, depending on how long that national anthem takes and the introductions. So let's get right into it, Connor. The pick, the final prediction and score of the season for us. It's sad, but it's cool that it's here. So Connor, take it away. Give us what you think and give us a score.
So to me, this is such a pick your poison matchup to me. And cases can just be made for both teams. And again, I think it's going to be one of the best Super Bowls in a while. But I'm going to start off this little segment with a hot take. It's not super spicy, just kind of hot. Whoever is losing at halftime is going to win the football game. Whoever is down, I mean, unless it's tied, obviously, but unless it's tied, I don't have an answer for you. But whoever's losing at halftime is going to win the game. Both of these teams have been absolutely notorious for second half comebacks, whether it's years past or this year specifically with Brady and the Bucs. And we've seen them get off the slow starts and kind of erupt in the second half. And that's exactly what I think we're going to see in this game from one team or the other. A second half comeback and a thriller leading into the fourth quarter. Now, in terms of how they match up against each other, in my eyes, I think Tampa Bay has the upper hand on Kansas City in terms of with the run game. Kansas City was one of the lower teams in the league against the run, and Tampa Bay, they've been cooking with Ronald Jones and especially Leonard Fournette. I think the game will be scripted around the run game, but one with Brady and then with the defense hopefully holding Kansas City, if you're a Bucs fan. But for Kansas City, even though I think that Tampa Bay, their defense right now can take down anyone with the way that they're playing, and that NFC Championship game is example number one. They have a knack for causing turnovers and flipping the game on its side, but that Kansas City offense can make any defense look silly. So you just got Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and we saw what happened in their matchup earlier this year with Tyreek Hill having over 200 yards in the first quarter. But to me, with Tampa Bay on the defensive side, Devin White, I think, needs to be playing his best football. He's been the rock on defense lately after coming back from his little COVID protocol, and eliminating Kelce is a must. And I think he can do it. He's an athletic, big body build, and he can do it. But in terms of the secondary and with Tyreek Hill and Carlton Davis from their matchup earlier, it's a different team than I think it was when they played earlier in the season. And that Tampa Bay defense is playing very well-rounded football. They're hot. But then in terms of excitement, I mean, just look at the weapons that both of these offenses have. This is like a tale of the tape. I mean, on one side, you got Kelce Hill for Kansas City, who, with Kelce being a tight end, still probably one of the best, pass catchers and receivers in football. Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you got kind of a rotation in at running back. And then you look at Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, Gronkowski, Cameron Brate, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Scotty Miller. I mean, the firepower for both these teams is ridiculous. And what kind of makes me like Tampa Bay right now is they're getting everyone mainly healthy back this week, and with their defense going up against a banged up Kansas City offensive line. Tampa Bay has been good at getting pressure. Mahomes still might not be 110%. You get pressure on Mahomes, force him to make mistakes. Tampa Bay will get takeaways. My final prediction, And by the way, it took me we've been sitting on this game now for 2 weeks, right? Yeah, 2 weeks. We've known about this matchup for 2 weeks. It took me until right before this show to finally pick a winner because I just couldn't. Because all year we've been saying, how can you bet against Brady and how can you bet against Patrick Mahomes? You have to bet against one of them right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take the experience over the youth. And I'm taking Tampa Bay is going to win 31-27.
Wow. Connor, I'm going to back you up on this because this is how I was going to start my end of it. It took me until this morning to make this pick as well.
Like I said, it's pick your poison. It's not easy, and it's like you can make your case for both teams, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you, and I went back and forth for 2 full weeks now. I started thinking about it as soon as probably right after the Buffalo Kansas City game. My mind started spinning. Who am I going to take in the Super Bowl? And I took a few days off. I'm like, I got a couple weeks to think of it. But I did not make up my mind until probably 10 a.m. this morning. I think it finally just all the pieces landed together in my head after a couple of weeks of forming opinions, listening to all our experts and other sports media on the radio and on television. So here it goes. Patrick Mahomes is the best talent in the NFL and what they have seen over the course of the last 3 years overall. He's flashy, he's efficient, he's tough. There's nothing too much to handle for this kid. For example, he's come from behind by 2 scores or more, and now 4 of the 5 playoff games he's played in the last 2 seasons. If they get behind, it doesn't matter. This guy's going to make it happen. The Chiefs are loaded with A-plus players. If you rank the top, say, 20 players on the field playing tonight, you could argue that 6 or 7 of the top 10 are Chiefs and they're A to A-plus players. There's no question in that. Andy Reid is one of the greatest football minds we have ever seen. He has been overlooked by Bill Belichick for years. I think he's been very much overlooked. He's been consistent and lethal, and many people haven't noticed it until maybe last year when they won a Super Bowl. The Chiefs are simply the top dog in the league, and they have been for over 2 years now. They make it look easy on Sundays. Even on the days they don't make it easy, they make it hard on themselves, they find a way to win. A guy makes a mistake, they say, hey, we're going right back to you, make a play this time, and it works. He might go for a 70-yard run, score a touchdown. Example, Mecole Hardman in the AFC title game a couple weeks ago. Guy muffed a punt, led to a Buffalo touchdown. They go right back to him on the next drive. They will beat you over the top. They'll hit the home run ball, or they can beat you by death by 1,000 cuts. Pick your poison. But this is why sports is amazing. That's why there's always a story. A year ago today, the Buccaneers organization was sitting on the couch and watching the Super Bowl as the organization with the worst winning percentage in pro sports. And they were watching Tom Brady on a Hulu commercial saying, I'm not going anywhere. Many assuming he would stay in New England, right? Well, 2 months later, he's going to Tampa. Shocks the world, shocks the NFL and sports world. It's been a roller coaster year. There's been some awful games mixed with some lethal games from this team. Halfway through the year, people said Brady is officially done. This is just his retirement home for a couple of years. He's not going to win anymore. Home send-off in the sun, sunny Tampa Bay. I said that a majority of the top 10 players on the field tonight are going to be A-plus Chief players. But take a look at the rest of the top 20, 30 players on this field tonight. There's a whole hell of a lot of B-plus players on the Tampa side. You're not getting A-plus quality out of this team. You're getting a lot of B-plus guys in the trenches that get down and dirty, a young and hungry secondary, a crew of just studs on the outside and in the receiving core for Tom Brady to throw to. And that's not even mentioning Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette out of the backfield. This is a Tampa Bay team that is set up perfectly to pull off something incredible. The stars are literally aligned in the sky for us all to see. And this is what came to me, Connor, at 10 o'clock this morning. It finally set in. The stars are aligned. I'm a little annoyed I didn't see it a few weeks ago, but the stars are aligned. An organization in the dumps for almost 2 decades. Out of nowhere, they get a guy who's won 6 championships with another team, a dynasty created in New England. He comes over. It's a chance to rewrite Tampa Bay history, but also cement a legacy like no other in Tom Brady, coming and winning another Super Bowl, not with Bill Belichick. A team that wins 3 games on the road as a wild card and gets to be the first ever team to host a Super Bowl. And in a year of 2020, 2021, where sports had been put in bubbles, it's been played without fans. Every single one of the preseason favorites went on to win the title. The LA Lakers, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the LA Dodgers. Do you see the pattern? The Buccaneers would be the team that would not only take down the only 2020-21 favorite, which would be the Kansas City Chiefs, they would knock that narrative to the ground, and they would complete a puzzle that stands as 2 LAs and 2 Tampa Bays in such an uncertain and outstanding year. It's written in the stars. You can't write a better script than all of the things I just mentioned. If there's going to be a team that I'll be okay losing a bet to, it's Kansas City. I can handle losing a bet to Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and this Kansas City team. I cannot bet against Tom Brady again. I will not be okay if I pick the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buccaneers win. I can't do that again against Tom Brady. I will die on this hill. I will die on a hill for Tom Brady anytime, anywhere, any place. Final prediction, Tampa Bay 34, Kansas City 31. Tampa Bay bringing home another title in their home stadium for Super Bowl 55. Brady with his 7th.
I didn't even put together about the whole pro sports championships this year. That's super interesting.
Yeah, it's something that I noticed like a few weeks back. I'm like, I don't want to bet against Kansas City because if you look at the pattern of the year, all 3 major sports have ended with the preseason favorite winning it all.
That's weird, man.
And it would be 2 LA teams and 2 Tampa Bay teams. Like it's pretty weird.
Yeah, I was talking more about the LA and Tampa thing. That's so weird.
Yeah. So that's what it'll be if Tampa can pull it off. So
damn, people of those cities are gonna be spoiled if Tampa Bay wins.
And look at this too. Spoiled. And look at this. It was Tampa Bay playing LA in the World Series.
Weird.
And who did the Lightning beat in the Stanley Cup play?
Oh God.
Because how strange would it be if it was even just a California team?
I want to say it was Dallas. No.
Well, we can look back at it. That would be. I think it was Dallas actually, but if it was a California team, that would be even more strange. But and the Lakers won the NBA title beating the Miami Heat. So not Tampa Bay, but it's another Florida team. So geez, Florida and California have dominated the pro sports world in this bubble year. So anyway, so those are our picks. We both got Tampa Bay. I was kind of expecting you to pick Kansas City. Kind of shocked me with that one today. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign, Connor. I'm not sure what it is if we both picked them. But anyway, let's wrap this up. This is going to be our last call for the day. Connor came up with a fun little idea, some prop bets. So let's hear your prop bets, Connor. What do we got?
Prop bets. All right. So my first 2 kind of go hand in hand. I actually start off with Travis Kelce. The line is at 94.5 receiving yards. Now I do think that Tampa Bay is going to eliminate Travis Kelce, so I'm going to hit the under on that. But someone that's going to benefit from that is going to be Tyreek Hill, and I'm going to take the over for 92.5 for receiving yards. So I'm taking Tyreek Hill over 92.5, Kelce under 94.5. Looking at all these, like obviously those first 2, they're kind of just like, oh, okay, yeah, those are like, easy kind of like generic ones. But Tom Brady over under a half yard rushing. I'm taking the over because he is the master of the QB sneak.
Oh yeah.
So he's going to get over.
Oh yeah, if they're 4th and inches or at the goal line, he's sneaking it, no doubt.
Oh yeah. And this one is probably my favorite one because it's a really under the radar shot in the dark here. I know Antonio Brown is coming back for Tampa. I know that they have a clogged wide receiver room, but I'm taking Scotty Miller over 20.5 receiving yards because it seems like all year he was good for at least like 140 to 50 yard catch a game. Whether he's lining up outside or maybe in the slot where he just darts up the hash marks. It's just he seems like he's good for one of those almost every game. So I'm gonna take my luck here. And I'm gonna take Scotty Miller over 20.5 receiving yards. First team to score. First team to score. I'm taking Kansas City. Coin toss. I'm going tails. Now I'm gonna add in another one that I didn't initially plan on doing. Gatorade color for the Gatorade shower of the winning coach. I'm gonna pick blue.
I was leaning towards like lime green or lemonade, the green or yellow kind.
Did some research. Orange was the color for Kansas City last year.
Okay, so they got to switch it up. So definitely not orange.
I'm gonna go blue.
Okay.
Well, I think it's the team's preference. I read somewhere that orange was like the preference of Kansas. I don't know. I really don't know.
So maybe it could be orange again. Who knows?
All right.
All right.
Close this out, Cole.
All right. I got kind of boring with this. I just went with the straight up. I like the quarterback over under and passing yards. So I went Tom Brady over under 290 yards passing. I was initially going to say under. I decided to go over because I do think this is going to be a very high tempo, high paced offensive game. So I'm going to go in the over on that one. And under on 325 passing yards for Patrick Mahomes. I got to take the over. I'm not going the under on anything in Patrick Mahomes. This is interesting. Cameron Brate over and under 1.5 touchdowns. I'd say this because I have a weird feeling that Cameron Brate, one of the most underlooked weapons for Tom Brady out of all these guys, is going to score at least 1 touchdown. So I put the line at 1.5 because I thought there's a chance he could sneak 2 in. I'm just going to go the under here, be safe, call it 1 touchdown for Cameron Brate. All right, Tampa Bay over under 89.5 rushing yards. I'm going to go over on that. I think Tampa Bay is going to have a day running the football. I'm not sure why. I just have this weird feeling that Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette are going to split the time and they're just going to run all over the place. Keep Kansas City on their toes, and then that's when you're going to see Tom Brady hit a couple of those over-the-top throws to a Scotty Miller or a Mike Evans and maybe even a Gronk and set up some scores. So I'm going over on that. This is fun. First coach to be shown during the national anthem. I got all my chips in on Andy Reid. I feel like they show Andy Reid first no matter what game it is. So especially in the Super Bowl, they're showing Andy Reid first. First quarterback to be shown during the anthem. It's got to be Tom Brady. This is his 10th Super Bowl. They got to show him first. And then heads or tails, I just got to go against you, so I'm going to go heads. It's going to be maybe just have some fun, put $5 in on saying it's going to be heads. See what happens. All
right. Well, let's hope all of our predictions and bets come true, and let's saddle up. We're a few hours away now.
Yeah, T-minus about 4 hours and 10 minutes. So I'm excited, Connor. I think you are too. I'm
sure we'll be in touch tonight. So
yeah,
we'll
definitely discuss. All right. Well, everyone at home, thanks for joining us here on our Super Bowl special. This is Beyond the Box Score. We'll see you later this week. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Have a good one.